ever seen that movie Shallow Hal with Jack Black?
Yeah,
when
Banana Hands.
And Tony Robbins, right? And he hypnotizes them. So all these like, it's a good movie actually. It is like a really fucking.
They said they were gonna try to do another one in reverse, so the girl sees
all the dudes.
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept, right? Like the men are crazy physical. Like we can deal with a bad personality. What do they call it? They call it like the crazy hot scale, right? Like if you're like however hot you are, you need to line up
that guy
as crazy as you are, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you can't pass that line. Like if you are a fucking smoke show, you can be pretty crazy. And it's like, but I've also heard.
Do you think sometimes it's like self-created because of like you're in your own head?
As far as
like if you're I don't know, I guess if you're really attractive and you got a lot of people that want you, you're kind of like, it's like overwhelmed, like as if a guy, so if like me now, if I was to go out and like look for a girl, like I feel, and they were like wicked hot, right?
Sure.
It would be weird. Like I feel like they would. I don't know where I'm going with this.
I feel like
probably cut this part out.
No.
Yeah.
I think just the fact that that it's like confusing is the point, right? Because I think that very attractive. Very attractive is on scale. Right, so
well, very attractive people attract but it's also successful people.
So
attract
that's what I'm saying. But I think that as a man, you cannot be that attractive, right, and get a very attractive girl, like because whatever you're bringing to the table, right? You might be 5'4", but you're making money. You're crazy charismatic, right? You're funny, you're entertaining, you're respected. Floyd Mayweather, right?
Dude, he's like
What's
5'5",
right?
and he can't read.
Little guy.
He can't read,
and there is not a woman that's going to say no to him. In
that's money. That's money
because it's success. It's who you are, right? So height isn't an issue, weight isn't an issue. So it's like, but what are
you attracting though? What are you attracting?
Of course.
So back to our full conversation. You're not getting the full
100%.
The full person.
100%.
You're getting,
and the same goes the other way.
Yeah.
Right. Where I think, as far as a guy goes, because we're so drawn, what I was saying was, so it's. I think it's much easier for a very attractive woman to have a not so physically attractive man, as long as he's bringing other things to the table. But where it's tough. And it's like, it just is what it is. A very attractive, successful man, it's very difficult for a not as attractive woman to get that man. Because we're so physically driven and phically...
it depends. I mean, I know what you're saying.
If you're an extremely attractive man...
I feel like it depends on... It really depends on what you bring to the table at the end of the day.
Right?
It's
that's
like,
the deal, though.
So
this might need to be cut out.
Yeah.
But if we're just talking real, that's the issue. Where if you talk to some of these women, like, well, all right, well, what do you offer? So this man has worked his fucking ass off for 35 years. He's worked on his body. He's worked on his personality. He's worked on his looks. He's worked on everything. He's not stopped working for like 30 years. He's 35 years old. He's finally at his prime. He owns his own business.
You're talking about yourself?
Whatever, right? Or whoever the case is. Whatever the case is, right? And you just, like, the man has bringing so much to the table. And then, great. So then you have this, very attractive young woman, right? And it's like, and you ask her, okay, well,
like my mom.
Where
put her on the podcast.
Is she there?
No.
And then, all right. So then you have this super attractive woman, and it's like, okay, what do you have to offer this man? This man has his success. He has.
It could be the other way around too, though. I mean,
100%, though, right? But again, a very
You're talking about
attractive,
you.
successful woman, though, right? A very attractive, successful woman. I think women are looking for very different things in the partner than men are. Like it's, I think they're different. It's a different standard. They're different prerogatives, different priorities.
I think
Big time.
It's like I don't want to say try. Like when you try, like you go to work, you try. You know, it's like you're trying to make a sale or you're trying to get a job done or whatever. It's your
trying to drink my microphone.
yeah, it's your expertise, it's your time put in, and then it's also balancing the effort to make them the priority too, right?
Sure.
So it's like, because if there's no effort, nothing ever will work.
Of course.
You know, you'll just be it'll go into some blanket, like you're just there to provide for each other, like that. But that, to make it full circle,
Yeah.
that's like the attractive level too. It's like I want to come home to Laura, like I there's a strong case where I never wanted to go home.
Yeah.
Before Laura.
Oh, for
You
sure.
know,
We've all been there.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Because that crazy bitch is there.
I'm like, no. And
We've
I
all
used to
been
couch
there.
surf. I would couch surf before I'd go home. And it's like, but yeah, it's that drive, and then it's the support too, right? So like
course.
for her to be like, yeah, go get it,
Hell yeah.
go do what you got to do.
100%. Like it's. I think that's
Balancing time is the hardest thing I think anybody ever has to do.
Oh, dude, wait till you have kids.
No, well, that's what I mean. But
Crazy.
you adjust, but you never really perfect it. The people that perfect it are the billionaires. You know.
Well, I would say that they haven't, right? Because if you ask, like, I remember I was listening to a podcast, and what this guy does is he just interviews fucking billionaires, millionaires, the most successful people in the world, and he said every single one of them, everyone, not without exception, every single one of them, when he asked what they regret the most, is time that they didn't spend with their family.
Correct.
Every
no.
single
Well,
one.
that's what I'm
Because
saying.
they
though.
fucked up
right.
on the time.
Right.
They
well,
were so focused, so driven, so like wanting to compete and wanting to fucking
But I think
master their craft.
so. Their love is their work, and then they feel like they gotta be this other perception, right?
Sure.
Like some of these people probably shouldn't get married. They just contribute to society and
Right.
fucking like Elon Musk. Thank you for driving us to space. You know, like pretty soon I'll be able to go.
Bezos took a penis to space.
Yeah, but it's like, what the hell? You know, if I was Jeff Bezos, man, there's a lot of things you could do.
Sure.
They said he's got enough money that if he died, it would go on for like X amount of years, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he's got kids.
Does he? Well, he was married, right? And made his wife the richest woman.
The richest woman in the world. Yeah. $80 billion.
Isn't that funny?
Selling.
It's all about who you know.
Yeah.
Right? You hear that, ladies?
Well, they said he would have been a multi-millionaire even if he didn't create Amazon because he invested in Google and Apple when it first came out. But my point is like this guy could go single-handedly fix the Flint, Michigan problem with the water.
Sure.
You know? And like this guy doesn't want to donate to any philanthropy.
That's interesting, right? Like, how do you like if you have enough money to does any man? How do you actually
where's your self-worth?
How do you actually cure poverty? And how do you actually cure?
I don't think you can because the
starvation,
system
right?
is set up to create it.
So it's like you could throw fucking billions and billions and billions of dollars at something, and is it going to help? Is it going to help racial injustice?
Well, it's the same thing. Like Warren Buffett wanted to cancel the U.S. debt.
Yeah,
and he said he'd do it if they put this stuff in place, and they won't.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Well, they want. I mean, we could talk government. Like I feel one side wants the people strong.
No,
and rich.
they're all together. They're all corrupt.
They are. But what you could say is what I'm saying, what I'm getting at is like one side acts like, I should word it that way, they want the people to be strong and they want the people to be rich.
Yeah.
One side wants the people to be poor and to be needy. And it's like, well, wait a second.
I think they both
power.
I think they both want
You both
poor,
want power.
poor and
They
needy.
both want
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
They both want power.
I mean, it's that should be a class in itself, how to control people. Because that's what it
Well,
is.
Stalin tried.
You're just, I mean,
Utopia,
that
right?
really...
Utopian society.
Think about it. You control
Hitler.
the media. You control the message. You control the laws. You control the people.
They're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? They're doing
And
it.
you know what's the worst part about it? Is it's all in the open.
That's what's wild.
I hate that. That
wild.
pisses me off.
That's what's wild.
And it's like everybody knows it, but like, and then the whole argument back is, well, if you know, why don't you run for Congress? Well, everybody's got a past, you know. And I'm not trying to air out my skeletons.
I mean, I like
you know?
a finger in the butt. You know, what the fuck? Jesus.
It's like, yeah. But then I'm also like, if George Bush could do it, maybe I could do it. First thing to being a millionaire is you gotta get $1 million.
They say that first million is the hardest.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's funny. Like about like time management. I would say that as a dad, as a husband, you know, as a partner, as a business owner, as all those things, I would say that most of the time I feel like peanut butter, right? Like if you just picture a piece of bread,
Let the dogs out.
and you're just spread across this peanut butter. And what I tend to find out is like everything. It's such a pessimistic mindset, and it's sad. And I wish I could look at it differently. But what my natural brain goes to is everyone's lacking. So I'm not the husband I need to be. I'm not the father I need to be. I'm not the entrepreneur I need to be. I'm not the friend I need to be. I'm not the whatever it is.
That's a good
because you're put in so many areas, and in each area you're so needed, right? In each area, it's like you
put out campfires basically.
Yeah.
It's like
you just lay in bed.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
It's
But
fucking,
it also
it's
it
crazy.
drives you to, okay, I got to spend more time here. I got to spend more time here. I got like your prioritization has gotten better because of it.
Well, you have to, but
Right.
then you're just in this constant. You're really in this constant state of failure almost, because it's like
I don't think it's failure. I think it's like
mentally. That's what you feel like. At least,
right.
that's
Well,
what I feel.
Yeah,
Like.
it could be. I mean, I think it's more like I could have got more done.
Well, it's
I could have been there more.
well,
I could have.
where it hits you, when it hits you, is when you can do nothing about it.
Right.
Right? Like when you're in the moment, when you're like doing this, like you're hanging out, you're talking, you're with a friend, and you're jiving and shit. It's like everything is at. When I look at it, like everything has. You know when you're at the. You know when you're at the fair and you hit that fucking hammer and the thing goes up, a thermometer. Right?
Yeah.
Or whatever that
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
gauge is, a gauge,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck. Yeah, everything has this gauge, right? Like my dad gauge, my partner gauge, my friend gauge, my entrepreneur gauge, right? Everything has
and
this
if you're
gauge,
low in one,
and it's like
fucks you up.
you gotta like put. Oh fuck, that one's getting low, right? That one's getting low. I gotta
Yeah.
add to that. Fuck
Yeah.
shit, you know. And oh, that one's getting low. I gotta add to that, and you're just constantly playing this game.
But that's where like your wife comes into play, and she's like, "Hey, you
Yeah.
got to go see your people." Like
That's right.
Like I tell Laura all the time, I'm like, "Go see your mom. Go see your grandma. Like go
For
hang
sure.
out with your friends. Like that's important people.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
You need that in your life." And she does the same to me. And like I actually respect. Like we went up to Lake Placid, and you couldn't go because you
Yeah.
ended up having to work. You got responsibilities. Again, not one person was like, fuck, you know, you pussy, you know. It's like, we get it.
Yeah.
Now, like, I don't have kids. I don't have all this stuff. If I just was like, I can't go, and I just, like, make up that's where it's like, you didn't even make an attempt. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So, I don't know. People...
Well, there's definitely another, because that's the probably the unhealthy way to look at it is like, fuck, everything's low. Everything's low. All my shit is low. Where I would imagine that the positive way to look at it is like, holy fuck, look at how blessed I am. Right? I own my own company. Like, I have this partner. I have these children. You know, I have these friends. Like, I have all these amazing things that all my time is being given
Well,
to.
even like for you, for example, too, which is cool. I mean, you were doing your thing, and you started hanging out with us all again. You know,
Oh, yeah,
which
everything came
is
back
like,
around, yeah.
And now it's like you never left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it's
boom,
solid.
didn't
Yeah.
miss a beat. You know,
Yeah, it's good shit.
that's the cool part of like that friend group.
I 100%. I heard someone say one time, whatever you're doing, this is like as far as like time goes, with whatever you're doing, if you could snap your fingers and be done with it right then, be at the end of it, right? So whatever the task is, if you could just snap your fingers and be at the completion of it, would you do it? And he said, and if you could, should you really be doing it? And what he meant was the process of things is actually what it's about. That Miley Cyrus song. It's not about it's about the climb, right?
That's why I got Verizon hands.
Right? Because it's like,
I don't like doing shit.
it's like if you could just like snap your fingers, right? Maybe you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Right? And again, there's this
like
whole,
my pool.
if you could just snap your fingers,
And that pool could be done.
That pool's done?
I shouldn't have a pool, right?
right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like,
Fuck that pool.
maybe like that's something that you really shouldn't be investing your time in, right? Because it's like if you're
say
not
that all the time.
if you're not enjoying the process, it's like, well, what are you doing it for? Like, what's the what like
To get in it.
right? So it's and I'm not even saying that that's like a right concept, because a lot of things,
it's
a lot
a
of
good
things,
way to look at it.
it could be. It
Yeah.
could be. But a lot of times it's like, this fucking sucks, but it's but again, the process, like we're knowing that, like when I go to the gym, right? This sucks.
Yeah.
My shoulder hurts. I'm sweating. Like, I'm hurting. It's fucking 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd much rather be sleeping. I'd much rather be doing a lot of different things, but I'm fucking grinding. I'm pushing.
Yeah. I haven't
But
left
we know that it's going to lead to something great. I've been doing cold therapy, and it's like, this fucking sucks.
Is that you dunking yourself in the
Yeah,
tank?
so I just do a shower, right? It's like I think it's at like 39 degrees is my shower. And it's like, you get in there and you're like, this fucking sucks. This sucks. This sucks. This sucks. This is awful.
Wouldn't it be that cold therapy would be if you got in a tub?
Well, they're both, right? So I don't have
cold water sprayed on you. I mean,
well, I think
it's
the whole
like-
point is, cold therapy is cold therapy, right? Like, you could do it outside. Right, you could go outside
yeah.
for naked for 5 minutes. I think it's just all what it does is it's creating like a lot of good shit. Cold therapy is really,
Endorphin,
really,
yeah,
really
is
good
it
for you.
dopamine?
Serotonin, dopamine,
yeah.
right, and
it lasts like
inflammation.
it
It lasts a long
3
fucking
4
time,
hours,
and
yeah.
you feel fucking amazing. So like, this whole process of this terrible situation, you just know in your head, like, this is going to be so good for me, right? When I'm done with this.
Yeah. So like, I think a lot of people, me included, I get it's like congested. Like, there's a lot of shit I gotta do.
Sure.
And then I'm overwhelmed.
Yep.
And then I'm like,
Fuck everything.
yeah, where's the beer?
Where's the beer? Fuck everything. I'm done. I'm punching out.
But like, I don't know. My brother, he was like, just do one thing a day, figure it out. And I think it's as you get older and you're figuring shit out,
Sure.
you're like, same thing. It's like,
Yes.
okay, this is important. This isn't. You start to realize what the hell's going on.
I heard this really cool. This guy was. We were watching this film about the Hubble telescope, and they had to send someone up there to repair it, and they had this sheet of metal, right, and it had like 500 screws in it, in space,
Yeah.
and he had a hand screwdriver, and he
Yeah,
had to
because
take each.
yeah.
And so what he was saying was, like, you're talking, it takes about, how long would it take for one screw
Probably a minute and a half
per screw, right?
Yeah, right.
In space with
Yeah.
this huge suit on. And what he said was, he's like, what it was a very like Zen experience where it's one screw at a time.
Yeah.
Like, if I
You
think
have to-
about
yeah, you
if I
have
think
to-
about the 500 screws,
Yeah.
or even the 330
It's one at a
screw,
time, yeah.
that screw. That's
Well,
the
that's I
only
said to
thing I'm
Laura.
focusing
Laura
on.
the other day. She's like, oh, I got a long day, and I was a block off the time. I go 8 to 12, 12 to 4, 4 to 8.
Sure.
You know, and it's like
One at a time.
after that, then you start compartmentalizing shit, and you're like, all right, this isn't as bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
But you really have to mind fuck yourself.
it's
you know?
all a mind fuck though, right?
Everything.
It's all a mind fuck because it can be either way. Like some people are just workaholics and they're just so whatever the fuck is in their brain, they
Well,
can't.
people
sit still.
go to work to like get away
Escape.
from
They're
things.
escaping.
Yeah, right.
For sure. Because again, I think a lot of it, dude. It's like I don't give a fuck. Like I would listen to Tate, love him, hate him, whatever. And his whole mindset is just fucking work, is work, is work, is work, is success, and work, and status, and ego. He's like, I don't care how you're feeling, you do it. But it's like, but dude.
Well, he just had bad relationships and bad things in his life that psychologically he blocked to that. Like that's why he works that like the way he does.
Well, in
You know
my
what I mean?
opinion, I agree with that 100%. But in my opinion, whatever the cause of it was, is so you have Tate, and his whole mindset is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you like what you're doing it. You're doing it because you're seeking an ego and status and success and status, right? But the reason why he's doing that is because that's what brings him happiness.
Right.
Status, ego.
So, yeah, right,
But
right.
it's the same exact thing as the poor motherfucker that fucking
Wants to
Gandhi,
get to the couch.
that
Yeah.
Gandhi,
Yeah.
where he's reaching this. He has these series of things that's leading. Like I would say, like Joe Rogan, he has a whole nother mentality where his whole deal is do what you love. Right, do what you love. Find something you're passionate about, and do that thing, and win in that thing, and stay focused in that thing, and then it's going to lead to that same dopamine hit that what fucking Tate is talking about, where it's work. And it's like, well, you're both seeking the same end.
Yeah.
And the end is to have
Right.
peace.
Right.
Right. And what brings you peace? For Tate, it's status and money and power and all this.
So
bullshit.
in that show we were watching the other day, Julianne Moore said something which was kind of cool.
She's solid, man. She's a great actor.
She was like, we're both seeking because her husband dies in the show. She's got to get remarried because she's left nothing.
Yeah.
And back in the day, women's rights were nothing, which is crazy. So she finds a suitor and she makes this deal with him, and he's like, "Why do you want to do this?"
She's having a baby with another man.
No. She's
fucking
got
Big Lebowski.
kids. She's got kids already.
Yeah.
But he sold off the property to his cousin, so left her with nothing.
Yeah. Ooh.
So she basically goes into mom mode and creates all this different diversions in England. And like, there's no social media, there's no nothing.
Yeah. Kicking ass.
She makes shit happen, and she talks to this guy, and he's like, why do you want to be with me? And she's like, well, we both want the same thing. We both want to be free.
Freedom.
And I'm like, but she's not talking, which is crazy. She's talking about after death, which is weird when you think about it.
Yeah. It's a whole nother fucking
which
time.
is but I'm like sitting there. I'm like, whoa, this is a little deep. And this is the one part I catch. I'm like looking up bubonic plague, and I catch this part. And I'm like, wow. But that's how they thought, and that's how they lived back then. Yeah. It's like they're looking for all their hard work to go to their kid, and then they're living free in the spiritual world.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I'm like, fuck, this is nuts,
dude. That's an interesting. I mean, growing like when I was born again Christian or whatever, and like it's weird. It's weird being so completely 100% convinced of something, and then realizing it's fucking bullshit.
Well,
right? It's like this and it might not be bullshit. It might be 100% fact. But again, it's a mental thing. So in my head, this is fact. And then you go, I think I was like 15, 16 years just in this mindset of whatever that mindset was. And then all of a sudden, like it just shortly like, well,
you probably could get hypnotized. I don't think I could get hypnotized.
Dude,
it's certain brains that could get hypnotized And
I would say I was in a way.
yeah,
Like I was hypnotized.
It's,
right?
well, they say like religion is very close into that.
Yeah, I'm
You
fully
know?
convinced.
Yeah.
Fully convinced. And what's amazing is to actually have this mindset where this life doesn't matter. All you're literally storing for yourselves treasures in heaven. So everything that you're doing, like all the good that you're doing, all the love, all the kindness, all whatever you're doing is like you're just rejecting reward. Like you're rejecting all the reward.
I think the morality of religion is right on. I think
of
that
Christianity, sure.
just
There's
no any religion really is like, well, the principles of major religions.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah, love,
the jihads
right?
and stuff. That gets
It's
crazy.
interesting.
You
Yeah,
know?
it gets a little fucking shady there.
You know, that's just placing and shifting blame. But
Sure.
like that's where I the whole devotion to like God is one thing, but then like having a priest or somebody tell me, hey, you gotta donate like $3.
Well, yeah,
You know,
because
it's
yeah. Well,
it's
right.
like,
Well,
basically, they are professional beggars.
well, dude,
Right?
think about like the
Like,
the
they-
100%. They're
They could
salesmen.
be on the corner,
Yeah, well, yeah, beggars or
but
salesmen.
they're wearing
right?
royal cloth
right.
in a building.
Well, like if you think about
They
like,
got promoted.
well, we fuck everything up. Like religion has been forever. Like we
The
like
principles of religion
forever.
are really cool. Like
yeah.
the stories behind it.
Yeah,
And like,
it's crazy.
so it's the same thing. Like you read a book about some crazy animal in the sea, you know, some mammal or fucking big ass shark or
Sure.
something, right? You're like, I don't believe it. But then you see a skeleton, you're like, oh shit. But how do you go out and like you see it and then come back and
Right.
you've never been on a boat?
Yeah.
How do I make you believe
Yeah.
that I saw it?
Yeah, faith, right?
You know?
You got to believe in the man.
It's
But
crazy.
it's nutty, man. But I feel like I heard what they used to say, or whatever. I don't remember where I heard it, but religion is man's attempt to connect with God, and what Christianity would say is Christianity is God's attempt to connect with man. Like,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Where- so,
yeah, yeah.
so
Yep.
it's
I
like
heard that too.
all
Yeah.
throughout all these religions is like we're trying to constantly. I'm not saying that's true, but that is a saying.
Well, you're trying to find reason and purpose.
What's
and
the reason?
knowledge? Yeah.
Right?
Why did this happen?
Yes.
Where did this come
What's
from?
next?
Yeah.
What can I
right.
trust?
Yeah. Right.
Like there's got to be more than this.
Right.
Right. There's all these like unanswered
Well,
questions.
that's that like when God gave man knowledge in the pursuit of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
That's where all the confusion started coming.
Right.
place.
So there was like there had to be an evolution, this shift, right? Where because I really don't think my cats give a fuck. Like I really don't think my cats are like wondering about afterlife, and my cats are
no,
wondering.
that's an animal instinct.
I really don't
That's-
think they give a fuck. They think about licking their fucking vag and their
Yeah.
dick and eating food
and hunting mice, Yeah.
just fucking around.
Right. But
right?
that's animal instinct. That's what I'm saying.
So there was a shift, right? If we
Right.
do believe in evolution, which really makes perfect sense, there's a lot of proof. I guess there's the missing link where
well,
you
you're
go from
telling
one
me you've
species to
never
another.
like sat there and thought like, shit. Okay, how is this actually made?
right?
You know,
Like,
you're like,
but
okay.
our fucking cats don't think that. Our
Yeah,
dogs
right,
don't think that. They
right.
don't give a fuck.
Right.
They just want to eat.
Yeah.
So when did that shift occur? Like when did that all of a sudden where our brains like cared? Like when did we begin to care? Like when did we look up and think, holy
when God created the first con man, that guy put pen to paper and taught everybody how to read.
right? Like it almost makes you
So I'm the true believer. I'm the king.
so
That's how kingdoms got made.
it would make sense that there would be an intelligent designer, right? Like there would
I
be
think
someone shifted, someone like took
I think
something fucking happened.
So no, but I think it really is that because all societies have it. It's that 1%, right? It's like you think about that. Their brains work way differently,
sure,
and then they control everybody else.
sure, yeah,
And that's been like that. That's how pretty much
Yeah.
whoever created the first kingdoms,
Right.
like
Yeah, it stepped
that's
out.
how their brains worked. You
Yeah.
know, you got influencers, you got, but even back then, writing the Bible. I mean, that's an influential person,
Right?
You know?
Isn't that crazy? Like there are certain personalities.
Like the technologies has changed, but the human behavior has not.
True, like for sure. Like it's crazy that there are certain personalities that like want to be led.
Right.
Like just lead me.
Yeah.
Just show me where to go.
Yeah.
Just show me what to do. And
They
then
just
there's
want to
certain,
be a worker, punch a clock.
and then there's certain person. Don't fucking tell me what to
Yeah.
do. Like
Yeah.
I'm good.
I'm gonna own this bitch.
I'm owning
Yeah,
this.
right.
Like I
Yeah.
don't want to fucking like. I'll help you. Like because I'll help you with your pursuit. Like you're
Yeah.
my friend. I love you. I care about you. So like I'll help you with your pursuit. But as soon as you start trying to like force me to do things, no.
Yeah.
Like I'm not into that. And so it's like it's so
Well,
true
and then
that
it's
like different
same people in
personalities-
like in the school systems. Everyone's like, how come like this kid can't grasp it? You know, he's got a learning disability,
Right?
Or
Something's-
whatever. But
But
it just doesn't want to be told
but
what to
then
do.
the motherfucker's like a goddamn Rain Man.
Like Teak.
Right? Yeah, right? He's a
See,
fucking Rain Man.
He's No Child Left Behind.
Right?
He created No Child Left Behind.
And
I tell him to his
and he's
face
a
all the
fucking
time.
genius. And it's like, what the fuck? Einstein fucking flunked out of like 8th grade or
We'll
something.
be in the car and he'll be like, "What's that?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, and he's like, "I think your timing belt's going." I'm like, "What?" No, that sounds like a ball bearing. And I'm like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" I'm like, "You freaking
Who made you?
Yeah, you didn't go to school from 8th grade to 12th grade.
Yeah,
you
literally.
only went for lunch.
Yeah, that's right.
Now the guy's putting in freaking electrical shit.
It's true, man.
Is-
It's like,
yeah.
it's bizarre.
But he's the guy you need. You're like, I'm glad I know him.
It's true.
I'm glad he's one of my best friends.
It's true, man. It's trippy. We were talking about
Religion.
that whole like beginning of shit, right?
Yeah.
Like the religion and I feel like it all kind of started there, and like that thought process that it's. I kind of feel like animals are on a very to the ground trajectory. Right, even like ones in the air, like it's like this very linear, right, birds or even ones in the ocean, whatever the fuck. It's like
Fish.
wherever they are, because it's not just on the ground. It's like a very linear survival, right? It's survive.
Yeah.
There
Well,
is-
that's that whole what's his name there? Darwin,
Yeah, survival of the fittest and
evolution.
shit.
Yeah. Manipulation, I think, really is
Manipulation.
That's
Like
what
we learn to manipulate, but some animals can fucking manipulate. Monkeys can manipulate.
Dude, the orca whale is so they'll basically tease their prey
manipulating them,
and then they'll kill it.
right?
Yeah.
It's like
It's,
they're
the smartest.
manipulative.
They're the smartest thing in the ocean that we know of.
It's fucking wild, man. So
Well, maybe like an octopus or something.
I think
but
dolphins are super
No,
smart.
orca whale trumps that.
Really?
They're the biggest. They're the apex predator of the ocean.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like, but then it like for some reason we just through time and 100,000, a million, fucking 10,000, whatever it is, whatever the number is, we developed this, and like it almost feels like boredom, like. Right?
Okay.
Like we got bored. All of a sudden we're conquering everything. We're on top of the food chain. We're taking care of business.
Well,
we got
we're running out of
fired.
room. We're running out of room, right? So like we used to, like England would go and attack Germany because.
But I'm talking even way before that.
No, but I'm just saying, like, or even like Native American tribes. Like,
Even
they
before
would-
that, right?
No,
Like back to like Neanderthals. Like we eventually got bored enough
of just living.
to think about like, all right, well, what's the purpose of all this?
Yeah, right.
It's like purpose. The
Oh,
purpose.
and then we evolved.
The purpose
Yeah.
is survive. Well, okay. Well, now we're not only surviving.
Then
we're thriving,
the ice age came, and we were like, "Fuck,
Right?
what are you doing to me, man?"
right? I was kicking ass. You know, like we were.
I
having
was
fun.
about to be king.
and like
I had a whole tribe.
Two
and I was
people
taking over
survived.
another tribe, and then you throw a bunch of ice at me. Bullshit! I can't even eat.
right? And it's like, but then we all of a sudden got bored, and then we were like, okay, well, why are we here? Oh, there was like this whole like I was listening to this guy, and he was talking about how they actually, the Neanderthals or whoever the fuck they were, definitely like primitive man, had burials. And it's like, well, why the fuck are you burying the dead? Like, what's the point of that? So something shifted, right? Where like,
Well,
it was in this like
So it
cave.
probably is like learning different stuff, right? So
Right.
like, I mean, I think that's just an animal instinct in itself, right? So if you died and you're laying in that room, and I'm over here with a bunch of people, and then everybody starts getting sick because you're over there, it's like
But do animals know that?
they have to.
Like, do
They
they?
have
Like,
to.
let's remove that.
But
or they remove themselves.
well, think about this:
They
if you
would
buried
remove
an animal,
themselves,
right? If you killed an animal or the animal died, and you buried the animal,
Yep.
and it wasn't far enough, some other animal is going to come and dig it up,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But how does the animal know that there's another animal there if it's deep enough? So somebody,
Well, it's got to be smell and shit, right? Like,
yeah,
you
but
can smell the animal.
again. So if maybe that was just the cause of why they buried him because they started to smell it.
It
You
could
know,
be.
like it could have been an
Like an
annoyance. It could have been a disease, or it
could
could have
be.
been, you know,
be.
you don't know what that thought process was that
Exactly.
created it, but something triggered them to adjust.
Yeah, was it a morality
Right.
thing? But then did that trigger of,
But I think it
I get what
compounds
you're
over
saying,
time,
right? And then all of a sudden it
and then-
becomes morality.
right.
Where
and then
it-
they're like,
it
and
was
then they start
instinctually-
telling everybody,
yeah.
"Hey, you need to bury them,
Yeah.
or you need to burn them
It's
because."
interesting. Yeah, so
and they learn over time, and
So all right, so not only that's what's fucking wild to think about. Not only do our animal instincts, not only do our bones and our genetic makeup evolve, but our actual mental instincts.
do you think there's like
right?
this is the crazy part? Do you think there's like a soul imprint through like genetics and DNA? Like
Souls are weird.
so
man. Like,
so like
souls are weird.
yeah, but why do I have same behavior and mannerisms as like my great grandfather
Right.
or whatever?
Yeah.
Like it's
The
is it
code.
just built in that code where
Yeah.
you're like, all right, you know, you're gonna be
Yeah.
like you're gonna be skilled in certain areas. Like why isn't everybody born and then can be a good baseball player
Yeah.
or good basketball player?
Yeah, but then you have
know?
like LeBron and Bron.
Right. And then
Yeah.
you got people that it's like built in their DNA
Yeah.
that, you know, they're just, I mean, obviously you work hard, you can make it, but
Sure.
we're talking like the top echelon of people.
Sure, and
Right?
like it's easier to understand the physical aspects of that, right?
But
Like
I think,
but what about the mental?
That's what I mean. I think it's like a genetic code imprinted
Yeah.
in your brain because nobody ever understands what the hell's going on in your
No,
brain.
the brain's fucked.
It's that thing is like the world's fucking
Yeah, the brain is fucked.
world
man.
changing computer at all times.
It's wild. Like yeah, the brain is fucked, man. And like
And like, think about decision making, right? Like, okay, why do people go out and they go kill other people?
Like,
You
wow,
know,
what's happening
And
there?
where does it stop me in my brain where I don't kill that person?
yeah, so then
know?
you could say like past trauma, molestations,
Yeah.
like different
that it build
instances.
up to that.
But
right?
what about people that have never experienced any of
Right.
that? Because those like there's
like
some
they're
people that-
naturally born narcissists and serial killers,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
their brain doesn't compute the way that ours does.
bizarre, man.
Like that stop isn't there. There's no filter.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy.
It's fucked.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
And you think about what? There's probably a couple million people born a day. You know?
However many seconds,
So,
right?
yeah, like there could be a serial killer
I
born.
think it's like every 2 seconds, 3 seconds now. It used to be every
Yeah.
second, something like that, every 5 seconds.
Well, it's I was watching something. I think was it Idaho or something. The guy killed like 3 people. They were saying he was going to be the next serial killer, but they caught him. It's like, man.
Yeah, like what makes us wire? What makes us tick?
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure Dahmer, according to like what I saw, like he was actually raised like pretty normally. Like his parents weren't abusive. Like, he wasn't molested. Like,
No, he probably just had a weird chemical.
well, he
imbalance,
started like
you
killing
know?
animals.
Well,
right? Like that's how it started.
his dad and him would go and find roadkill and they'd dissect the
Yeah,
animals,
right?
And it turned him on, and it was like, that's
Where the fuck does that come from?
Right.
Right?
But
Dude,
again,
another thing.
But the dad being like, "Where, like, hey man, this is normal." Like, what? Get out of here.
Well, what's crazy is
Like, find a different hobby, do a puzzle, or fucking play cards or something.
What
man.
about
like,
what
fucking
about
gin rummy?
What about
Guys
like,
out there killing fucking.
What about like minor attracted people?
What do you mean?
Like people that are actually like men that are actually attracted to minors. It's like you can say whatever you want, like oh fuck them all, they shall. But they have that in their brain. Like they actually are attracted to minors. Like that's in their makeup. It's like what the fuck? Where like?
Well, I think part of it is like again, they might have a genetic mapping of back in medieval time. I mean that shit. Like men were marrying like 14-year-olds and shit. And it was just
normal.
Weird. Yeah,
just normal.
Like we in this show, like in the beginning, the husband there is like trying to beat the shit out of Julian Moore, and I'm like, man. And first thing I said to Laura, I was like, that was like normal,
sure,
you know. And I'm like, and then I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, fuck, this is bad.
Yeah,
guy, she tackles him and they go down the stairs and he dies. Spoiler alert. But I'm just saying, it's like that. It's got to be like a weird chemical infection. The other part is, I think this is where parent support comes into play.
Of course,
you know, like, hey, that's not natural. That's not, you know, like, I mean, look at in high school. It's like you're a senior, you're dating a sophomore, you know, and it's like, looking at it now, I'm like, that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of weird. Even though you're in the same social environment.
Yeah, it's young.
Is it right? No, I don't know. You know, that's questionable to the parent, I guess.
It's interesting, man. It's an interesting, like, should we?
But there's certain laws too, like Arkansas. I think is you can get married at 15, or you know, it's like that stuff is weird. You know, they should be focusing on that stuff more than anything else. But I don't know. I think it's a genetic mapping, like a messed up weird thing.
I heard this guy Chris Williamson, just a great podcaster, and one thing that someone had asked him, what's one thing that I forget what the question was. It was while he was in university, he was in Europe or something. They call it going to uni or whatever, and being more compassionate on minorly attracted men. And it's like, oh, what is one thing that you would think that people would frown upon that you believe, or something like that? And one of his beliefs was we should be more compassionate for minorly attracted men. And it's like,
I don't know what
whoa,
that means.
it means these men that are actually attracted to young boys or young girls. Like that's their attractiveness. Like they're not attracted to women, they're not attracted to men, they're actually attracted to minors, to children. Because there's a lot of men that are minorly attractive that aren't acting on it. But they still are. Like they still are attracted to children. And so it's like, what do we do with those men? And what they did this statistic or whatever where they were asking, would you rather men that have that compulsion where they're attracted to young men go to prison or like have sexual like a lobotomy?
Where that's a weird concept in itself,
right? Where it actually removes your desire for the young for the minor, and it's like Jesus
both are
Christ,
crazy. You know, I mean, I don't know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's still there. And it kind of, to go full circle, like it just brings you back to what the fuck? Like it's going from some.
So your animal instinct, kill and eat and, you know, hang out and, you know, go to bed, to now it's, you got you got these passions and desires, and
I mean, they are like
it's
this
Yeah,
this
it
stratosphere
yeah.
in this galaxy of thought and concepts.
Who was it?
and-
Aristotle or like the 7 virtues?
Oh, one of them, Socrates or some
Socrates,
shit.
maybe,
Yeah.
That's a cool concept to think about. It's
Well,
like
for
when you
sure.
really think about how the human behavior works, it's in those 7
Sure.
things, and then from there, it webs
Yeah,
out,
it just
you
webs
know?
right out. Yeah, culturally, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
It's
And then, but then, what I always fucking fall back on is like, well, when did it start? Like, when did we? But I think it goes like what you're saying. It probably started just like all of evolution, where they buried that. They just moved it out
could've-
of their area,
So
right?
well,
Get it out of your
so
area.
the other thing too is it could have been, well, like we were talking, the bubonic plague, right? Like maybe a lot of people died, and they were like, we gotta replace all these people because we need workers, we need all this stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So people started having kids
Sure.
at early ages.
Sure.
Like I don't know. I mean, that's like, but then it became acceptable, and it's not. It's the same thing like today. There's behaviors that are acceptable today
Oh my god!
that like you're looking at 20 years ago, you'd be like, what the fuck?
There's again, I go back to Gillis, dude. He has this fucking this bit where he's like, man, it must have really sucked when they first made the age of consent.
Yeah, like think about it.
Who-
It's like doing Continental Congress. It's like or
14,
like an auction.
12.
Oh, we got 17 here. We got 17. No,
Yeah,
17.
that's
Oh, we got
fucked up.
14. We got 14. We got 14. No 14. We got
Well,
12. We got 12.
right.
1 for 12. 1 for 12.
Yeah, man.
And you're
Who's
like,
that fucked up guy?
Fucking
You're
kill that
disgusting.
guy. Kill that guy.
Right,
It must
12.
have- it's like-
And then someone says 24.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
wrong with you?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like, but it's like such a.
And then
it's
it came
funny.
back full circle. It's like, all right, what should the drinking age be? 12. Oh, fucking kill that man.
fuck
That's
is
too
wrong with
young.
that
That's
guy?
too
Yeah.
young.
Vote-
How
vote
about
in the
18?
war.
18. We're good with 18. Everybody good
Yeah,
with 18.
we like
18's
that.
good. Okay, we're starting to kill people. 21.
21. Yeah. It's true though, man. It's
But
like
just the concept of other people making, like, you elect people to make decisions for you,
it's wild.
and you're based on the majority or whatever. And that part sucks, you know, because it's.
What's a better way though? Like the majority vote, right? Like
You probably got to go to a 3-party system for sure.
well, yeah. This whole 2-party bullshit is,
Well,
is
and
insanity.
the problem is that they vet these people.
Yeah.
Like, I want somebody that's like could have went to prison but never got caught.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I think that's why people were so attracted
and then
to Trump.
Becomes like a very successful business
Sure.
person. Like Jay-Z, for example, right? He fucking dealed crack and all that shit,
Sure.
and then he got out of the game.
Yeah.
He didn't get caught. I'm not saying that crack was good, but I'm just saying,
that's
like,
the trick, kids.
But that's how,
just don't get caught,
Yeah.
and then
But,
you
well,
too can become president.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, even it's crazy to me. But now it's like we gotta expose everybody's deepest, darkest secret.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't give a shit what the hell you did.
Yeah. Who are you now?
Make gas like fucking $1.50. Thing of eggs like $2, $1. You know, like.
That is interesting how we hold people accountable for their past.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, and you're talking. So, like, think about
That's
this.
wild.
I'm gonna be 40 this year, right? I'm about halfway to death. When you think about it, I've lived at least, and if I make it past 80 something,
It's a plus,
that's
right?
that's
a gain. Yeah.
But you start thinking about it, you're like, fuck. Like, I was like, man, age. You know, you think about it. I still think I'm like 30.
Right?
I act like I'm 30 sometimes, but
I am 28. I mean,
you gotta, like, you start thinking about that, and it's like, okay, if I change my life around and I'm successful, I got good things going for me, you're gonna question what I did at 20? 22, 23.
It's crazy,
And
man.
it's
Like we grow, we evolve
But I needed to do all that
to
shit
get to where you are
to
now.
know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we all have, fucked the wrong girl and buried her in the backyard. Like we've all done that shit, we've all been there. We all have had chlamydia. It's like it doesn't it's just part of our past. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. Obviously, I'm joking.
I can't be president because I had chlamydia.
But it's like
I've
it's just
never had
like
chlamydia.
none of us are who we were, right?
Right.
It goes back to evolution, right? Like not only evolution's crazy. It's like not only it goes back to what we were talking about, like our bodies and our bones and our species have evolved, our mentalities have evolved. We evolve as humans. We're just constantly evolving. We're constantly going up.
Do you have friends in your life that like you still consider a friend or an acquaintance at this point, but like you just grew out of being friends with?
Of course,
right?
Yeah,
that happens, right?
yeah.
And then you also have friends that you haven't talked to in forever, and you see them in 10-year spans, and you're
right.
like, you just pick up where you left off.
Yeah,
That's the evolution of who you are.
that's right.
But
Yeah.
you needed those people to be in your life
At that moment when they were there
to develop
absolutely.
who you are.
Absolutely. So it's like to judge someone like based on their past. I guess I could understand if they committed some heinous crime that they never got caught for. Now all of a sudden they're getting caught.
Right.
Right.
And it's like after statutes of limitation or something
but-
like Bill Cosby.
yes,
It's like,
exactly.
dude, fuck you. You're
that's nasty.
Dead. You're dead to me.
You damaged
Yeah.
people's lives.
Right.
Like you need to pay
Exactly.
for what you did.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, but then like, he made fun of a Chinaman, 20 years ago.
Like
It's
Shane,
whoa.
Shane Gillis, when he got
Exactly.
canceled, same thing. It's like, dude,
Whoa,
he said that when
dude.
he was up and coming.
Yeah, he was like
thought it
20 years
funny.
old.
Yeah, right.
It's like, come on, like settle down.
And there's no like court of appeal where he could like you could look at everything he's done since.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, we saw that. That's
it. Yeah, it's a weird.
Yeah.
And
I hate cancel culture. I hate revisionist history. That shit
dude.
pisses me off.
All right. Well, I think we solved enough of the world's problems today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, pounding headache.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think everybody is had enough. All right. Well, Brian Oot, thank you so much for fucking hanging out.
Thanks, man. Had a good time.
That's right.
Thanks for the pizza and beers.
And then we'll actually have the uncensored version available on Patreon.
yeah.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.
See ya.
See you.